Hey, this is the Boss Lady here, and welcome to Professional Business Solutions, the channel where I'm minding my business and yours too. Today, I will be talking to you guys about the issue with deducting your tithes and offerings, or any charitable contributions for that matter, on your tax return. So, Miss Jackson, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but you may not be taking that deduction on your tax return. And here's why. The IRS gives us a standard deduction on our tax return, which lessens our income, which potentially lessens our tax liability, which potentially lessens the amount that you have to pay back in taxes. If you use the standard deduction that the IRS automatically gives us, you will not be using what they call itemized deductions. Itemized deductions, which are on a Schedule A, is where you will put tithes and offerings or any charitable contributions that you may have for the year. What they have done also is allowed you to take up to $300 worth of monetary charitable contributions on the front end of your tax return, which will be found on your Form 1040. That's the main tax return, main sheet on your tax return, which is the 1040. That's where all your basic contact information, all of your wages and income and your deduction is on that first form. Now, if your standard deduction is more than those itemized deductions, you will not be using those itemized deductions, which in turn means you will not be using those charitable contributions, i.e. tithes and offerings, or any charitable donations that you've made. Now, on an average, the average taxpayer pays around 10 to 12, sometimes 15% of their wages. They pay this much in taxes every year, accumulative. You only get a certain percentage of those charitable contributions if you do itemize deductions and put them on a Schedule A. Usually, the average taxpayer uses the standard deduction. And this year, that standard deduction for head of household taxpayers was $18,500. If your itemized deductions are not more than that standard deduction, you will not be using those itemized deductions, meaning you will not be using those tithes and offerings. So, for those of you who like to hold up your tax preparer or wait until late after the tax season is over, waiting on your tax form from your church or Goodwill or whomever you may have given some charitable contributions to, may not be worth it. Also, on the other end of that is your tax preparer may be charging you for adding those tithes and offerings to your tax return, and you're not even using it. Me personally, my tax software, for every piece of information that goes in that software, you are being charged for it. So if they have entered that tax form for those tithes and offerings on your tax return, you're being charged for it and you're not even using it. If you have any questions about it and you are using a CPA or tax service person or an accountant, check with them to see if they are actually using those tithes and offerings on your tax return and if you are being charged for it. If you have any more questions, if you're uncertain about what I just talked to you about, give me a call, 281-742-0920, or you can schedule a free 20-minute consultation on my website with the Boss Lady at www.pbs-thesolution.com. Go to classes and events and schedule that free consultation today.